All right, and we're live. I'm sorry for those who joined a little bit earlier, and um, I finally figured it out. I don't know. I don't know what it is about YouTube lives. I feel like I do this every month, so I should have the hang of it. But for some reason, my camera always decides to not work or like tell me that it doesn't work. So whatever. But anyways, as I wait for people to join and such, today I wanted to like inform you all or just like update you all on my block, um, my block six. So block six just finished on Monday. I had an exam, and if you saw my like year two video, how everything changed, well, man, and even my August 1st live, like you can tell my mood was just low, and I don't know, I was just like frustrated with just how everything was going because I felt like everything was out of control. And so today, now that I'm done with my block six, I'm going to talk about like what worked for me in the beginning. And then after, if y'all have any questions, you can let me know. Hi, Jen. Thank you for joining. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about what worked for me for block six. And then after that, then y'all can let me know what you want me to talk about. So yeah, I got it working. Thank you for your patience, Priscilla. I'm sorry for my, I was, I was ready. Y'all saw my thumbnail. I had a description, but whatever. I'll fix it after. Um, but basically, so for block six, I we have a lot of recorded lectures. So none of our classes are like you go and you attend and you listen to the professor. No. So what works is you go to mis cursos and they tell you, okay, today for tomorrow we're going to learn about X class. And so today you're going to prepare for X class. So you go to the mis cursos and you go under that name of that class, and you should have a pre-recorded video of the class, and then also the PDF or PowerPoint of the presentation, basically. And you just do you listen to the recording, or you do your notes on the recording, and you do whatever you need to do in order to prepare for the day after. So that's kind of how it was, and it was very chaotic because my very first day, hi Michelle and hi Jessica. My very first day was crazy because I had to prepare for three classes for the next day. And I just didn't know. I was just, like lost. But what I wanted to share with you all is what worked for me. So a lot of the professors, they okay, well, not a lot, but like some professors, their class is them just reading the slides. So if it had like a paragraph on the slide, like the all they would do is just read it. And what I did in the beginning was I would read it, and then I would like pay attention to the recording and then do some side notes if any. But I slowly understood that they didn't do like side explanations. Well, not all of them, but some. So I kind of got the hang of, let's say, my pharmacology professor and um my immunology professor. They both just read from the slides. So what I ended up doing was just trying to like not spend so much time on the recording. So I would go to class, and then after like 3 or 4 hours of class, where I would work in a group setting on a assignment every day, Monday through Friday. After that, I would, of course, have a break, and then I would download the PDF and then just read it on my own. Um, so I would watch any video. So y'all know that I'm like a big fan of Boards and Beyond. So that's kind of what I'm like I'm just sticking through with Boards and Beyond. But also I'm doing Pathoma because now we're doing a lot more diseases, and Pathoma is like a very good resource for STEP. So I want to get those videos kind of like watched and understood. So I watch Boards and Beyond video and Pathoma if they have any. And then I read all of the PDF. And then when I would go to class, like the stream that was already recorded, I kind of sped it up, especially for the professors that only read through the slides. Um, because I don't know, I like part of me still wanted to attend class because just in case they like highlighted something and they thought something was important or I don't know. I just wanted to feel secure that I still listened to the professor. But so what I would do is just speed it up. So over time I just sped it like to 2 times speed, if not more, depending on the professor. If you ever want to go above two times speed, you can download a free extension. So I have Edge. So I currently have let's see, it's called Global Speed 1.5. Oh, Global Speed. And then you can adjust your speed for your videos if you want to go above a 2.0. Yeah, exactly. It's a lifesaver. But you could also get it for Chrome. And I think there are some for Safari, but I'm not sure if there's any free ones. But yeah, so then I would listen to the lecture and then just do me. And I feel like that really, really helped me because for the very first exam, I would listen to the recordings and I would get really like, it would take me so long to listen to the recording and write notes, if any, because there were professors that did have like additional explanations. And so that's where my time like just left. And I didn't have time to do any questions and I didn't have time to do Anki. I didn't do Anki at all for my like for all of my 6th block, even though that was my goal. I just didn't have time because I feel like I was just lost in like the motion. Like I would just do anything that needed to be done for the next day, for the next day, for the next day, and then on the weekend I would catch up because sometimes I didn't finish. A lot of the professors also really use the books. So the same Robbins pathology book. um, yeah, like I would go to that book so that I can get like further explanation, because what I've noticed that a lot of the professors, they kind of do an outline of the chapter that we are covering. So for example, if we were learning about amyloidosis, and all the professor did is just kind of cover all the different types and in the order of the book, but not include everything. And so for me, I like to understand like in-betweeners, I guess, because sometimes I don't understand how like the third bullet relates to the fourth bullet on the PDF slide. So I just go to the book and I kind of read like the sentence or two that's in between, and then I just either like I write it on the PDF of mine because I have a tablet, and I just write like the notes. So that's been helping me. Also, I went to the immunology book through Clinical Key. So I don't have the PDF for that one, but I used that one a lot this time around for block 6. And for pharmacology, I didn't do any outside um, extra reading material. Like I did try for my very first exam, and I think that's why it took me so long to like not waste time because what I would do is I would try to find it in the books that I thought were relevant, and they were not there. And so don't waste your time with the pharmacology um, book. Like if you think it's going to be like correlating, unfortunately or fortunately, like it depends. Like the professor gets it from different sources, is what he told me. So I kind of just stopped. But then as the block progressed, I realized where he got the information, which is from drug bank, I believe it's called. Okay, so if you go to PubChem and you find any like pharmaceutical drug, then you can kind of like go into the resources and then you can find it. Drug, I believe it's drug bank. Um, so yeah, it was very, it's basically from there, and it became like easier to understand. Like he really focuses on mechanism of action, even though his slides cover like the metabolism, the elimination, any like the indications of any like drug and such like that. It was just a lot of information for like one drug, and then each PDF had like 6, 10 about. So it was just overwhelming to have so much information. So don't feel that way, I guess, when you get to it. Um, no, the main things are mechanism of action, and then anything that the professor bolds basically, or highlights in red. That's like very important, because usually they like combine the drugs in one slide. So let's say the slide is like antihistamines, so you're gonna have different drug names, or drugs that talk about antihistamines. So you need to kind of understand the differences, and the professor helps you by having it be like bolded or red or something like that. That way you can kind of differentiate between them. And of course, like the mechanism of action is like how you can differentiate between them as well. So yeah, I recommend to not like try to like find a book, I guess, for the pharmacology one. If you do have any questions for pharmacology, go to PubChem. They will for sure have everything, and it's for free. And then what else did I do? Oh, okay, so our final was cumulative. And this was the very first time that it was actually cumulative. All of year one, all of our exams are partial exams, which means that the material that was taught right before that, that was the exam that we were going to have. But right now, this for our first time, it was cumulative. And I was kind of skeptical, because I didn't know if it was actually going to be truly cumulative, or if they were just saying that to like have a study, like everything. And so what I did with a group of friends is, for the very first time, we compiled like summary sheets. So all of the classes for block 6, we kind of divided it, and I did like 5 summary sheets for 5 different classes. And so it was just like a small Word doc, maybe like 4 pages max, of what each class was trying to teach, in a way that was like a little condensed, and kind of like summarized, but like made easy to understand, to teach you, if anything, if you don't know. And that really helped me, because for exam 1 there were, I think, 30 different slides, like different classes that I had to read through. And y'all know that I do my pass system. And for like, I finished my third pass barely, I think, on like Saturday night. And then I had like an unrealistic day, one day, to finish my fourth pass. And that never happens. Like, I always finish my third pass in 2 days, and then same goes for my fourth pass, 2 days. And I I was well, I don't know, I was kind of freaking out, just because um I was like, "Oh, I know I'm not gonna do well in this exam." But I told myself that I did my best, and I know that I like constantly study, and I constantly keep at it. Like, I'm not doing anything but like school, I guess, for the most part. And so that kind of kept me sane, and I just remembered, like, I'm just doing my best. And unfortunately, I kind of did my worst on the exam, um which was expected, but it didn't hurt me as much, just because I knew that I did like what I could do. But it definitely like told me to change it up for the next exam, because I cannot read, like I told you all, like I'm like a slow reader, because I could read, and then my mind will drift, and then not only that, like it just drains my energy. So imagine me reading 30 slides, 30 classes, and just like reading it again, and then telling myself to read it again. Like, it was just impossible for me to do in that amount of time. And not only that, just to like understand the material, like it's not enough to just read it, like you have to, like, when I read it and I try to like understand as I go along, and kind of make like short connections, like, oh, okay, that's why it is this, not just like this is that. I don't know if that makes sense. My point is to understand, and I try to understand for my third and fourth pass, because it helps me remember it better. And so, anyways, I did summary pages for my cumulative exam, because for a fact that one was cumulative, and it was cumulative. So I remember that it had a lot of like pharmacology questions that were from the previous exam, from exam 1. And for my exam 1, there weren't that many pharmacology questions, so maybe that's why. Um, so yeah, it was kind of like it threw me back, and I really didn't think I would do well in my second exam, but I did for whatever. I guess like I just remembered, I don't know, but I know that I didn't have enough time to like review the old pharmacology information because I knew that I didn't want to overwhelm myself with like new information, even though it's review, but yeah. Priscilla says, yes, try to draw connections between lectures. Uh, yeah, I mean that's ideally. Ideally, if you can say like, okay, this is the like heart condition, and for this heart condition you have this like pharmaceutical drug that you can do, then yeah, you would be golden. If you can connect it like that while you're like processing. What I do is I just like if I read like a pharmacology thing, like then I'm like, okay, if I have this disease, don't just say like, oh, like a statement like, oh, this disease happens because um hmm, how can I say? So let's say like I'm gonna bring up amyloidosis again. So it's like a disease that has like protein accumulated, right? And then there's like primary versus secondary. And then so what I would do is, okay, well, primary has like the double A protein, and this comes from this it comes from like immunoglobulin light chain. And then if that would trigger me to think like, okay, remember that it's primary because it's coming specific, like the disease comes from this protein accumulation, whereas the secondary is associated with like chronic inflammation. So you would think, oh, well, I remember that secondary meant like it comes from something else, like so it's associated with all these other diseases, kind of explaining to myself why it is what it is, rather than just saying secondary is associated with like um, you can do Alzheimer's or senile amyloidosis or familial, like stuff like that. I don't know if that helps, but ideally, yeah, connecting it with different lectures would be amazing. But I don't think I usually do that because I think like I'm always trying to learn, and I don't know it like that always. So yeah. um but what was I saying about the cumulative exam? It was cumulative, and it was the 60 questions, and we did not have the breakdown. We will not have the breakdown for, we didn't have it for block 6, and we have the same coordinator for block 7. So I'm assuming we won't have a, a question distribution either. I think that's just not going to be a thing anymore. And we still have all of the classes that are flipped. So my main recommendation is just to not waste so much time on the recordings, because I feel like that's the biggest time sink. At least for me, if you learn the way that I do, I focus on my videos from my outside resources, understand it, learn it from there, and then I go into the PDF slides. I read, and then if there's stuff that I don't understand, I do like a little question mark, go to the stream right after, and then I specifically listen. Like I listen to everything, but when it comes to that little question mark that I don't understand on my slide, I slow it down to like 1.5 or 1 if needed. And then I write my note depending on what it says. And usually they use the pictures from the books as well. So I always go to the book to see the caption that is written under the picture, because that usually will kind of guide you into understanding what the professor thinks is important, or like, why did the professor put this picture? Oh, it's because it's telling me that um, it's like a different type of stain, or like the type of cells that are supposed to be like accumulated, or like what's happening, I don't know, histology wise, something like that. So yeah, those are my recommendations. I hope that it helps. And then also we did have a final video um project. It hasn't been graded for me yet. That's kind of why I haven't been doing like a YouTube video, because I was like editing and filming for my project video, and so it was just too much for me. So I'm really thankful that like I at least like I'm doing this live so that y'all can like hear this part of my life. That way y'all can like hear it fresh and not like have me forget. Um, so yeah. So now if y'all have any questions, you can tell me. I had previously written in my description like that y'all can ask me anything like in terms of um school. Like there's no dumb question, I guess, because that's kind of why we're here. Like I want to encourage you all, like not only for here but like in class, to always ask questions, even if it's to your professors, like through Teams. That's kind of what I've been doing, asking questions through Teams, doing very specific questions for the professors just so they can answer my question. Um, but my point is that it's your like education and your learning process, and I want to be able to help you all as much as I can. I'm sorry I've been a little MIA. I know some of you have like emailed me, and I will get back to you. I'm so sorry. It's just that YouTube, man, it really pushed me like off. And yeah. um what if you have questions on the materials you prepare for flip? Yeah, if you have questions as you prepare for the flip class, they ask you to send them the questions before 4 p.m. Guadalajara time. So if you have questions, send it to them before. But if you send it to them after, they will get back to you the day after. So not the best, but that's just how it works. Do you ask during flipped? Okay, so during flip class, I put on my white shirt because I didn't buy any white scrubs. And just kind of how y'all are seeing me, that's how I present myself to the camera. And the professors, they kind of just expect you to have the camera on for the most part. And you can ask questions by turning on your microphone or writing it on the Teams chat, but I haven't really been seeing that. So what I do, I don't know if this is what other people are doing, but during the class, if I have a question, then I send it directly to the professor that is like teaching me. And I just say like, hey, professor, like this is my question. And then, I mean, I know that they're available because they're right there. So they just answer, and which is great because they do answer my question like in that moment. Um, but I don't know, slowly, like throughout the like as the block progressed, I kind of had less and less questions. But that's just me. Like I don't know. Um, you hate flip, it stresses you out. Yeah, it's so flip classes used to stress me out so much in year one that that's why I was so scared for year two. Now they're still like somewhat stressful, but not as like before. Before I would feel like I was like you know, like a chicken running around without like a head. Like that's how chaotic I felt like everything was going. But now I feel like kind of have a groove. And so let's say it hits 9 a.m. when my class is supposed to be. I go to mis cursos like 10 minutes before that, have it load, and then I refresh once it hits 9. Then my assignment is there available. I can download it. I download it as a doc if available, and then I upload it to my OneDrive on Microsoft, the like the what we have, right? Like the Microsoft service. And once it's on OneDrive, I can open it as a Word online, and then I can share it to anyone with UAG email. I create a link, basically. And in that link, you just like, I just share it to my teammates, and then if everything is beautiful. What was happening in the beginning was that I would receive a PDF, and then I would have to convert it into Word. And then the Word to like PDF to Word conversion was horrible. I was using also like what free like PDF conversion websites online, and it was just ugly. And it was like for one of my classes, it took me like 30 minutes just to format it the way that the PDF is supposed to be. So I was really like annoyed and stressed out, and I was like, I cannot have like a whole block like this. So I messaged one of the professors, and I asked them, and they reminded me that I could just download Microsoft Office from like where, like, let's say you go to your Outlook, then you have access to all of Microsoft services, and then if you go to Word, then at the very top to like the right, I believe, it says like download Office, and so I didn't know this because I just didn't. I don't know. You can download PowerPoint, Word, Excel, like for free on your own computer, because of the way that UAG works now. So do that, and then it saves me a lot of time and stress, and now I no longer have to waste time formatting a like paper. Now I can actually like spend time reading my assignment and knowing what we have to do, you know? Flip classes are next level. They really are. And you're still in first year. Yeah, Priscilla. But I think it gets a little bit better because, well, I'm very grateful for my teammates. They like we have really good communication, and I feel like like I've grown to like, like we've grown to trust each other with our information. And then also like in year 2, they were expected to do like APA style like references and do in-text citations, and that took me a while to get used to. So what I use is my bib. It's free. I haven't gotten any like promotional like, okay, that's it, like that's all your your citations you could do. So I recommend it, my bib, to do your APA style like references, and then you can even copy the in-text citation. Like it does it for you. It's beautiful, and that saved me time too. Um, that's how you feel right now, Elizabeth. Hi. You're in year 1. Yeah. Um, that's exactly what you've been doing. That's perfect. I'm glad that you like figured out a way to. Can you briefly explain what a flipped class is? Yes, of course. So flipped classes, traditional classes is just you go to class, and then in year 1 you go to class, you have the professor talk to you live stream like how I am, and usually with a PDF, like a PowerPoint presentation uploaded, right? And so you can see them. Year 2 regular classes is you download your own PowerPoint presentation, and then you hear or listen, view the pre-recorded lecture by the professor. But a flip class is a class where you're essentially required to understand the material beforehand. I guess even more so than how you would before. So for year 1, all I needed to do before class is I would watch a video, like a YouTube video, a simple one that I would just like kind of understand like what's going on, and in class I'll learn and like fully like like understand it a little bit better. Whereas here, a flip class, you have to understand the material beforehand because the next day you're expected to do an assignment based off of that material. And usually it's a little bit more like elaborate. So you actually do really need to understand the material. And that's why it's a little bit stressful, because you literally just try to understand it and not really have any guidance towards it, because like you're limited as to how much you can teach yourself, I guess. And then the next day you're expected to do an assignment that is graded. And not only that, it's timed. So usually we have like an hour to do a assignment. Sometimes we're getting 2 hours, and that's usually because they send us like a clinical case report the morning of, or like that day that we have the class. They give us like, okay, here's a case on this patient related to the diseases that you learned like the day before. Now fill out this document that I'm providing to you with like 6 questions or a table. And usually the table requires you to do like pathology information and like treatment, epidemiology, what else? Like complications, risks. For the pharmacology side, it would be what's the metabolism like, what are contraindications, and what else? Like elimination and mechanism of action, just like anything that's like safety hazards information, just like anything that we need to know that they want us to know. And so it requires a lot of like outside resources in that moment, at least for me, because I do have the PDF class that like they provided the day before, but usually it's not enough for me. And then I have the book available, but sometimes not enough, so I have to Google. So I have been using Medscape a lot for year two. It's free, so I recommend you all to just create a login, and then I've been using PubChem and Sci-Hub. Sci-Hub allows you to see research papers for free, because we don't have PubChem available at UAG. So if you find like a research paper online that you don't have access to, go to Sci-Hub. So like Sci as in science dash hub, HUB. You've been using Google Docs, which helps things a little smoother. Yeah, Google Docs. I just hate having to copy everything and then like reformat it. That's why I go the Word way, because now I just like have it do it for me. But hey, and I don't have to ask people like, what's your Gmail? What's your Gmail? What's your Gmail? Let me write it. Like now I just like create a link, and I just send it to you. But actually, you can create a link with Gmail too. So I don't know. This is what works for me now, and I'm just gonna stick to it. But yeah, Gmail is a lifesaver as well. Do you always have the same teammates, or flipped? Yours are always random. That's true. For year one, it is random. For year two, you kind of create your own team in the beginning, and it was just that was stressful too, because I didn't know anybody in my class, so I was just like a sitting duck for like 10 minutes. I don't know. And I was just waiting for anybody to ask for a team, and nobody was asking. And so I was like, I need a team. And then like five other people were like, me too. And I was like, all right, then we have our team. So then we kind of created one like that, because I didn't have any like friends in my class. So that was fun. And yes, we keep it. We keep it. I kept it all throughout my block 6. And actually I'm in the same one for block 7. Of course you can change. I don't think there's a problem. But like I said, we've kind of bonded already, and so we kind of have like a groove, which is great. So now we just like continue. Are you in any university organizations? Yeah. Okay, so at UEG there are like, okay, I think there's only 2 official organizations, which is ACP Internal Medicine Interest Group and AMSA. Those are the official ones, which I believe have already been like pre-approved by UAG, the school. But right now, there's many like different upcoming organizations by many like really cool people. There's one like in emergency medicine, psychiatry. I've seen AMWA, the Women's Association, and I believe there's more. Oh, of course, there's a pediatrics one coming up too. And so I encourage you all to just join the ones that you're interested in, just to be like more familiar with like what's up within those like niches, I guess, of people. I am currently in the internal medicine organization, because I am interested in like pursuing internal medicine. But even if you're not interested right now, you in going into internal medicine, you can still join. Like anybody can join basically at school. Um, so I joined last year for my second semester, and I became like a representative there, which means that I just kind of promoted the events that was happening. And then for this semester, I was elected vice president. So that's why I've also been busy, because, of course, like things go crazy just when I think I have it together. So I have that going for me right now. Those are the main things that I've been doing. So yeah, if feel free to look into more organizations. Studying medicine was much more fun before COVID. I do hope that you can begin in-person studies soon. So actually, there are people in my class going to that are in Guadalajara. Um, Unfortunately, they weren't like told how the classes how they were going to be, but the way that it is since our whole block 6 and I guess block 7 is flipped, the people that are in Guadalajara who chose to go in person as well, they go to class. Let's say it's at 9 a.m. They go to class at 9 a.m. when I have class, if I'm at that time. And then I log on on Teams, and they have their group there. So they're essentially doing the same thing that I am. They're doing the assignment, and I'm assuming that they're sitting in a circle. I don't know why, but I haven't seen that. They sit with their groups, and then they work on the assignment, and they turn it in online as well. And the professor's there if you need any questions. I haven't really seen that much interaction, but when they do, like, the professors are nice to like let us know like what they told the other people that were in person. But that's usually how it goes. There hasn't been any much more than that due to COVID and because of the restrictions. So, but yeah, it would be better. That's why these organizations are very important, because a lot of them are doing like workshops, intubation and suturing and bandaging, which are things that we're not really learning right now. So that material, or like that information, is something that the organizations are kind of providing, because the professors are nice enough to like help us provide those workshops. So usually it's a doctor who who is teaching the class, like maybe a small group of 8, how to suture or something like that. So we're very grateful, but at the same time, yeah, it's very limiting. Sometimes the books don't help. Langman's for embryo killed me. And I really don't like Newton and Hall for physio. And the fact that we went through the entire immunology textbook. Let me tell you, if you have not, okay, I am doing HMX immunology, and I wish I would have done that for my first year, because I feel like you're right. For the immunology section in year 1, we basically read the entire book. I think it was like three chapters like a week or something like that, if not more. And and like I said, my reading, y'all should have seen me struggle. I read them, like, even because the professor told us to read it, and not only that, because the slides that the professor provided were mostly pictures. Um, so I was just guiding myself by making sure I read everything that was related to the pictures. So like if this picture was with this section, then I would read it, and it essentially was this whole chapter. But yeah, HMX immunology, highly recommend you to do, because it's very like straightforward, and it teaches you the material in like a very nice way. Like, of course, the videos, but they have like kind of like a small presentation, like it's animated, and you go like slide by slide, like, okay, first the B cell like will like connect or to the T cell here at the thymus, but here specifically, and this is the receptor that comes out, and it's just beautiful, like it all makes sense. So I highly recommend HMX immunology. I feel like it's the best one and that I've like done. So yeah. And the book, yeah, Langman Embryo, for embryology, it's very like conceptual, I feel, because you can't really like, I feel like I need to see it, like pictures or just like movements, and I couldn't. And the pictures, I don't know why, they're very like old school in that book, even though it's like a modern book. They really need to update that. But I'm glad that we have Amboss now. So hopefully Amboss will help with like these modern and like good like summaries, What HMX courses have you taken? Any order that you suggest? So I actually took them in the order that the school told us to. Let me pull it up right now. I believe that genetics was first. And honestly, genetics, I hope I'm still here. Okay, yes, I am. Genetics was the hardest one for me, just because I feel like it was a lot of information. It was very, I want to say, demanding in comparison to the others. But also it might have been because I was just like a very first semester, first year, trying to understand like how to study, and like I didn't feel like I had everything together yet. I mean, I still don't, but like even more. So I took genetics and then I took physiology. That one was nice because it talked about the heart, the kidney, and the lungs. And then I took biochemistry. So that one was very into like um, glycolysis and like that part of medicine. And then I took pharmacology, which was nice. Even though that information I first learned it in school and then I took pharmacology. It was nice because it was a good review, you know. So technically I should have like learned, like, I don't know, like I should have known everything, but of course I didn't, and it was like a nice review. So and then now I'm on immunology. And I believe we can only take five. One, two, three, four, five. Yeah, so I'm on my fifth one. Um so yeah, I recommend y'all to do it, not only because I feel like it's beautiful. If y'all don't know what HMX is, it's basically free for us at UAG. These series of videos in a very like it's very nicely formatted because it kind of teaches you along the way. So you learn a certain material, and then after you learn it, in every lesson, they kind of do a clinical correlation to whatever you just learned. And so you kind of see a physician in the office, or sometimes for the physiology one, we saw like I think someone in like the surgery room, and just like it's very nice because you kind of learn more about it. Like I learned what a dialysis machine looks like through here. I'm like, I don't know, it's just so amazing to see like what we're learning in like the real world. So I really encourage it. And it's nice because you get to learn it at your own pace. What I do, or I try to do, is 1 hour, like 1 hour a day. Um, but if that doesn't happen, then I do like 1.5 hours, and then I kind of just like keep at it consistently. Try to keep up with the weekly, because every week we have new lesson plans that appear. So I try to keep up with that just so that I'm not like behind and stressed out about it. What I personally do is I screenshot the the end of the video. It has like a summary, and that I put it on a document. And in that document, it helps me because once I get to the final, I read through it and I kind of like, in a way, like study for the final. And then I can have the final. And then I take the final. And then you get a certificate of completion or accomplishment. Uh, Completion if you did everything, and then accomplishment if you get, I believe, like a certain percentage um, on the final and on the whole like classes, because every video consists of like a series of like 5 quizzes or something like that. So I recommend it. It's good for you. You learn a lot, and then you can also put it, I believe, in your ERAS because it's a certificate. Um, is HMX manageable during year two? Hmm. I didn't do it for a while because I was, like I said, like I felt like everything was just crazy. But once I got it together, I want to say I started it again before my first exam. I never do HMX like the week of the exam. Um, and if I do, it's very like early in that week, and then I just stop because I don't want to like stress myself out, you know? So right now that my exam was on Monday and today's Wednesday, I still have not done any HMX for like this week. And I don't know if I'll do it, honestly. So I'll probably do it next week. And then because I'm like behind, then I'll probably do like an hour and a half until I'm somewhat caught up. I do think it's manageable because um, only if you like keep up with it like consistently. Because if you want to do it at the end, like all rushed, then it's just too much information, and it's just kind of like a waste of your time having to, like, let's say if you don't want to watch the video and you just like let it run or something. That's just, even like, it's still like a lot of time because you have to wait for it to finish and like register that you finished the video to get like an official check mark of it being completed. So yeah, even like I wouldn't recommend it if you're not gonna like watch the videos. I do think they're nice. Yes, Amboss is another lifesaver. I'm so thankful that we have it again. I wish they would have sent like an email because I don't know when it was officially like brought up, but I'll see what I can do for my second year, my seventh block. Now we're starting cardiology, so I'm sure it's gonna be useful. Um, Starting first semester, students worked in remote clinics during what was called Guardia. It was part of the UAG program of medicine in the community. Do you still do that? Hmm. Well, no, I don't think so. I personally haven't heard about Guardia, about going to remote clinics. The only thing that I believe is available is an outside association called the Medic, and they go to I think they hold like free clinics or something for the community, but that's not UAG affiliated. And in terms of anything different, no, like no, nothing for our first year was like mentioned like that, and I haven't heard anything like that. Something, but you did spark me to like think about something extra that we're doing clinical cases every Monday. We have three professors present a clinical case, and for like an hour and a half to 2 hours they talk about the clinical case. So they present it, they say like, oh, this is their patient, what do you think is happening? And so during that session we have the ability to talk to the professors and just say like, oh, well, have you like considered this disease? And then the professor, it's kind of like back and forth, like, oh, okay, why do you think that is? And then they kind of like guide you into talking about the different like differential diagnosis that it could be, and then like to the end deciding like what it is. And yeah, it's very interesting. I do enjoy watching that, but I don't really like actively participate just because I feel like, wow, so many of our like my classmates know so much and so like fast. I feel like I'm like slower right now, but it's nice to hear it happening and just like understand it like later, because I'm like, I can understand, but thinking on the spot I feel like I'm still not there yet. But it's something new, and it's, I believe, going to happen all of year two. It started like mid block 6 for us, and we're still going to continue it. Unfortunately it's in Spanish for the most part, so I don't know. I don't know how if they're going to continue all of it in Spanish, but because I do know that we have some classmates that don't speak Spanish as like that fluently, at least. But I think that this last one, I think, was a little bit more English. Um, yeah. You can also speed up the HMX videos. Yes, I speed it up, and actually, I don't know. I don't know if it's just because I trained myself to think this way, but like now when I watch videos at normal speed, like I feel like sometimes I can't like keep up with it, I guess. Like it, like I don't know, I guess my mind just drifts, and I rather go a little bit faster. That way I'm like actively thinking like, okay, yes, okay, next, okay, next. But I mean, not for all videos, of course, but yeah, I do try to speed it up too. um okay, those were all the questions. Do y'all have any other topics that y'all want me to talk about, or how are y'all doing? um, Something that's happening in my life is that I'm moving. So I think that's another reason why I'm not doing HMX right now, as you see by the boxes. So it's been a lot of like trying to balance things. But I know that I always like slowly ease into the new block, and so I'll catch up. But right now I just need to balance both. You understand me 100%. I'm glad. Yes, I'm glad it's not weird. My people. When am I coming to Guadalajara? Um, if I'm honest with you, for school, I don't think I will go unless it's absolutely necessary. Just because I feel like I don't want to deal with the whole visa thing. If I don't need to, I guess. just I don't know, and like looking for a place and just like the concept of moving, it's a lot, you know. So unless they require us to go, I don't think I'm gonna go. Especially because I don't really see like well, I guess I would benefit from going to the in-person workshops from the organizations and then maybe volunteering in Gay Medic, which I believe is like an amazing opportunity for y'all to do. Um, in terms of schoolwork, I don't think it would like benefit me there because I feel like it's almost the same. Um, so yeah, but it does sound cool. I do want to visit at least because like I don't know. We haven't had our white coat ceremony, so maybe then. I haven't been able to get an appointment for your visa. Yeah. Yeah, the visa, I don't know how they are now, but when I was trying to deal with it, I think you at least now that like well, we're in September, but they recommended me not to contact them in December at all or just to do it before because it becomes very chaotic. People always want to go for the holidays. So yeah, I just keep insisting with your visa and the what's it called? The appointment. But if you have any questions regarding like the visa and stuff like that, I do have friends who are in Guadalajara, so I could always like ask them and tell you, you know? Because I know that I don't have that knowledge. So just in case you like don't know anybody who like can ask that you can ask, like feel free to just like message me. I could be your middle person. I was super excited to go, but with all this COVID and the visa issues, I don't know anymore. Yeah. Honestly, I'm more afraid of COVID. Like, um, I just feel like I don't know. I've been very like indoors. I'm that indoorsy person with COVID. I haven't really gone out much. It's not until like very recently, where I'm like feeling like more safe and just like overall better, especially with like the vaccine and stuff like that. Um, But yeah, because like I remember for like my I think like 2 weeks in after my year two started, there was like people who um I think were with COVID or got COVID. And so then the school like stopped the people going to classes for like a couple of weeks and then now they're back and I haven't heard anything bad like or any scares like that happen again, which is great. But at the same time it's like I don't know. I don't want to risk it, I guess. If I don't need to, I don't know. I just feel like I'm fine. I'm fine right now. But if you prefer to go because you like want to see like you want to talk with your like your colleagues and stuff like that, go for it because I know like for example I have a friend who likes to study with other people and like talk it out and stuff like that. So if you think that might benefit you, then yeah, go for it. But for me personally, I feel like I can't do that. I need to just like do me, otherwise I will stress out, you know, and I feel like I need to do what's best for me. Your homebody. Hermit due to COVID, yeah. There's these gifts like saying like, okay, now you can go out now, and then you're still like indoors. I feel like that's me, like, okay. But whatever. All right, y'all. Well, it was nice talking to you all. I hope that you all stay safe. Speaking about COVID, and I wish you all the best with school and whatever you're dealing with in your like personal lives. I hope to talk to y'all again. I will work on a video, which I'm excited to do, and yeah, I'll keep y'all updated with everything I'm doing. Exactly, exactly. Yeah. All right, y'all. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Thank you for joining also. I really appreciate y'all being here. Um, I love it. I love it. Of course. Thank you. Thank you, Priscilla.